You are listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast with your host, licensed massage therapist, Kyle Pleasant. Here, we will be discussing topics on health and wellness, as well as self-improvement, and his experiences as a legally blind massage therapist. And now, here's your host, Kyle.
And hello again, and welcome to Pleasant Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Pleasant. So today, I wanted to talk about something I like to call perceived value. Now, I talk a lot about on this show, your thoughts create your reality. And everything, in the universe, is energy. From the thoughts that you think, the things that you watch on TV, and the music you listen to, the books that you read, the kinds of people, friends, family that you might associate with, all are contributory to the energy that we have in our life. I've said before that the quality of your energy represents the quality of your life. And I was taught at a young age, especially as a teenager. I was kind of a little bit of an awkward teenager there, and my Uncle Mike, who just recently passed away, introduced me into a lot of different self-help books and successful business books and things like that. And a lot of the main themes for those books were typically, if you wanted to be successful, then you would surround yourself with successful people. And that goes true for, a lot of things in our life, is that if you want to see success, if you want to see happiness, or in areas of your life that maybe you perceive are not working, then you have to kind of change the energy of that aspect of your life, whether it is your relationships or money or whatever. That if it's not working, your emotions will tell you whether you're at peace or not at peace. That situation you're in, that toxic relationship you're in, or that money that you're spending on, or whatever it is that you're investing in, that time or that money or that resource, is going to demonstrate to you what's working and what's not working, what is working and what is not working in your life. And so you have to, stop and evaluate that aspect to see if it's not working. Then you have to make some kind of change in the resource or the energy that you're contributing to help change that particular aspect, whether it's your thoughts or the person you're with or the money you're spending on, or whatever it is. That it's just something that needs to be evaluated. And for me, when I was a kid, I had I struggled. I was awkward and I was kind of shy and all that. And for me, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. I didn't have a lot of belief in myself. And I think my uncle picked up on that, which is why he introduced me to some of these self-help books to kind of help steer my mind in the right direction, so that if you're not feeling successful or you don't feel like you have much value, then you have to surround yourself with people and things and resources and energy that are going to strengthen that. And for me, I thought, as a teenager, I spent a lot of time obsessing on the fact that if I didn't have any friends, or if I was alone a lot, that if I would just had a girlfriend, or if I just had, one best friend in my life, that would change everything. Because if somebody else valued me, then that would change it for, it would help my self-esteem or help my self-confidence. And it wasn't until I got older, into my 20s, that I started, wondering, that in order for me to feel or to have friends or relationships, that I had to love myself first. You often hear that, if you want somebody to love you, you have to love yourself. And I think a lot of that has to do, with, the perceived value, how we value ourselves, how we perceive ourselves has a lot to do with how we relate to people around us. But until you get to a point in your life where you start to value yourself, because you matter, you're important. The fact that you exist on this planet at this particular moment in time means that you have a purpose, and that has value. And you see it a lot even in the business world. I mean, our world works on perceived value. And, if you wanted to be successful in a particular business, you could go on something like Google Trends and find out what's trending. And that whatever's trending is what society at that particular moment in time values with that perception. And say, oh, well, if this is trending, then people will find this particular thing important. I mean, you see it in, in industry, the weight loss industry, where, sex sells, and people value how they look. And so the weight loss companies and the magazines and the media all exploit that sexuality to, if you want to be valued, if you want somebody from the opposite sex to see you, then you have to look sexy, and and so it's a perception, a perceived value between, you and whoever you think is looking at you. So it starts with you, and instead of being, thinking of, weight loss as, oh, I want, the opposite sex to look at me, or I want to be perceived as sexy, what about being healthy? The weight loss industry doesn't say, hey, lose weight so you can be healthy. No, it's lose weight so you can look sexy and attract the mate or whatever. So, but, it doesn't necessarily go around to how you look, but how you perceive yourself. And, you build self-confidence based on getting to a place in your life where you decide that you matter, that you have value, not because of the way that you look, but because of the way you show up in the world. And, I often thought, like, you see things on TikTok or whatever it is, or on social media, that if you want to be successful on social media, if you want to be TikTok famous, then you connect with what's trending on, those platforms. Do the dances and do the memes and, all of that. But that, even our economy and the stock market, the things that are going on in the stock market today are based on, the stock market itself is governed by perceived value. If you believe, or if enough people believe that a company like GameStop is great, then more people are going to invest in it. If you think a particular stock is not great, or a company is going to fail, then the stock for that goes down. Even we're not on the gold standard anymore because, of what happened in the 70s. But the dollar inflation is based on perceived value. Everything in our world is based on, of any kind of measurement of success or money, business, capitalism, or any of that kind of stuff is based on perceived value, how we perceive the dollar, how we look to the opposite sex, how we, but the whole point of this on a spiritual level is getting to a place where you start to value yourself. Because if you believe that you're not valuable, if you're a piece of crap, then you're not going to care where your money goes. You're not going to care where your time goes. You're not going to care what kind of food you put into your body. If you don't value yourself, if you don't believe that you're important, then you're not going to value your energy that you have and how you show up in the world and finding your purpose. Some people struggle with trying to figure out, well, why am I here? What's my purpose? Well, if you don't think you have a purpose, or if you don't believe that you have any kind of value, then it makes it much harder to find that purpose. and to attract the opposite sex or a mate or whatever, or to bring money into your life or success into your life. Because if you don't feel like you have any kind of value or you don't deserve to be happy, and that's your thought process, then that's going to continue to show up in everything that you do and every relationship that you have. So when you get to a place where you say, you know what, I matter, and I have a purpose, and I have a reason for being here, and I love myself, and I deserve to be happy, and I deserve to be loved and cared for and appreciated. When you get to that place, then everything else, the resources and the reality starts to change. That perception starts to change, and you start to see more good things show up in your life. You start to figure out what your purpose is. I mean, your purpose in life is to find your purpose, is to find your values, to find your meaning. And we're all here on this planet together. And the fact that you exist right now at this very moment, even listening to this podcast, says that you have a purpose and you have a meaning and that you are important. You are a blessing. You know, God don't create no junk, you know? And you have to hold that and take that energy into everything that you do. And when you do, wonderful, miraculous, beautiful things will start to unfold, because you know that you're a blessing. You're a blessing to yourself, and you're a blessing to others. And I hope that resonates with somebody out there, and this message can be shared with others out there in your field. If you see somebody that, you know, is like a little bit down on themselves today, you know, say, hey, look, you matter. You mean something to me. Just a little bit of kindness goes a long way. So share this episode. And if you have any questions or comments, you can reach me at podcast at pleasantspirit.com, or you can use the little voicemail feature that Anchor and Apple Podcasts has, or, you know, or whatever platform you're listening on. And until next time, be well and have a pleasant day.
Thank you for listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast. We hope you found today's show informative. Please take a moment to write a review. And if you want to reach out or have show ideas, you can email at podcast@pleasantspirit.com. You can also visit his website at pleasantspirit.com. If you are in the Portland, Oregon area, you can schedule a massage or one of his coaching services at pleasanttouchmassage.com. See you next time, and always be well.